Okay, I'm super excited to get going on this new game, guys. I'm seeing a lot of good reviews for it, but I'm also seeing a lot of comments come in, so let's just take a quick look before I start. Okay, Edgelord77, let's try to keep things positive in the comments. Whoa, okay, why would you even type that? Okay, no one look at that most recent comment, it's awful. Okay, you know what? That's enough. You're banned. And so are you, and so are you. Okay, so you've probably heard about people getting banned on social media. And when that happens, we hear a lot of conversations about free speech. So what is it? Can you really just say whatever you want without consequence? And how does it work in Canada? This is KN Explains Free Speech. Everyone is talking about free speech these days. Take all the headlines about Twitter, for example. From Elon Musk's free speech agenda after taking over the company to prominent people like Kanye West, Donald Trump, and Andrew Tate being banned. And that's just a few examples. But what are we really talking about when we say free speech? Let's start in 5th century BC Athens. The ancient city had two concepts, Isagoria and Pareitia. Isagoria translates to equality of speech, including the right of the citizens of Athens to address the democratic assembly of the city. Pareitia translates to a more casual freedom of expression, the idea that you can say what you want, how you want, to whoever you want. Let's jump forward to 1791 in the United States. That's when freedom of speech, press, and religion were added as an amendment to the Bill of Rights, making it law. But what exactly does it mean?
Free speech, at its most fundamental definition, is the idea that we all, as individuals, have the ability to express ourselves without anyone telling us what we can say or what we can't say.
So it's in the Bill of Rights in the US, but what about Canada?
It is something that is protected by Canadian law. So it's protected by the Canadian Charter, Section 2B, which gives everyone a protected constitutional right to freedom of expression. This applies to all Canadians, kids and adults alike.
I guess that means anyone can say whatever they want in Canada and nothing and no one can stop them, right?
No, it's not absolute. Nothing is ever absolute. There's always this idea, because we live in a society, that we have rights up until the point where our rights bump up against someone else's rights. And once you start bumping up against someone else's right, then your right is limited.
Okay, so limits on free speech. Sounds like it kind of goes against the whole freedom thing. What's the deal?
I don't think it goes against the core idea of freedom. The limits that we set are based on the other rights that the Canadian Charter protects. Other limits that have been set are where you want to do something that, for example, harms someone's privacy rights, or if you want to express yourself in a way, but it harms someone's right to be presumed innocent if they're accused of a crime. Those can also be limited.
The limits on free speech can include things like hate speech, which is when someone is saying something against a group of people that is likely to incite hatred against them, which is then likely to lead to what is called a breach of the peace. Or defamation, which is when someone says, writes, or expresses something about another person without excuse or justification that is likely to damage that person's reputation. Okay, so back to the whole social media thing. Is it these limits that get people like Jordan Peterson or Andrew Tate banned?
It doesn't really apply to those platforms, because the Canadian Charter only protects individuals when they interact with the government. Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, these are all private companies. And so they don't have to respect the Charter. That's not something that is binding on them.
So Andrew Tate and Jordan Peterson can say what they want on Twitter, but then Twitter can ban them, and their right to freedom of speech has not been violated, at least according to the Canadian government. Okay, I really want to get going on this game, but I'm seeing everyone talk about free speech and the people I banned. Let's get it straight so we can get back to gaming. This platform is owned by a private company. You can say what you want on the chat, but this ultimately is my stream, and that gives me the right to decide who can watch and who can't. Rude and offensive comments will be deleted, and anyone who does that will be banned. Makes sense? Think about it like this. In Canada, you are free to say whatever you want, but you are not free from the consequences of what you say. That's it for Canada Explains. For CBC Kids News, I'm Sophia Smoke, signing off.